UsherWorld.com, how y'all doing? We're live here at the preparation, the rehearsals for Grammys. It's gonna be incredible. Well, you have a movie coming out. Want to talk to the Usher?
I would. I'd like to tell you guys to go see Never Say Never. If you don't have tickets, get tickets. Bring 5 friends. If you're a male, go see the movie. It's for everyone. And we got Jaden over here.
Jaden,
We're all working.
you want to say that?
You know, I just want to say that I'm in Never Say Never, and I'm Jaden Smith, and my dad does not put me in whack movies.
Word.
Working together. It's fun working with Usher because he teaches us new stuff every other minute.
Yeah.
He's always giving us advice. So
This is history. To the right, to the left.
this is awesome.
Yeah,
You
man.
know that.
Yeah. Usher has swag.
All day.
What?
Okay, I'm just gonna.
And we're back, with a deep dive into Diddy's vicious cycle of abuse, and the many youths whose lives were either directly or indirectly affected by Diddy and associates. In the heat of this Diddy trial that's now underway, Justin's team has released a statement claiming that Justin was not victimized by Diddy, but whether Diddy himself had done something to Justin, or it was someone in his sphere, is irrelevant. It's no mystery that Justin was absolutely taken advantage of in his younger years, in a whole variety of ways.
Me plus you, I'ma tell you one time. I'ma tell you one time. I'ma tell you one time. One time when I met you, come on. Wow.
I ain't mean to stop you like that, but this is only a tease. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you, Island Def Jam recording artist, Justin Bieber. It's getting ready to go down. Just so you know, we're in the studio right now working on it. Get ready because it's gonna be big. Ain't that right, Justin?
That's right.
That's right. So look out. We're coming.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed, at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen.
We're having a good time, yo. Usher made it in the... Hey, yo.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
Everything ain't for everybody.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Bieber Fever. Justin Bieber's here, everybody. How are you tonight? Are you okay?
I'm doing great.
Yeah? This is your first Brit Awards. Are you enjoying it?
It is. It's my first time here. I'm really excited. So many people are so nice here, and I'm excited.
Can I say this? Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. What music are you listening to at the moment, Justin?
Well, I listen to a lot of different stuff. I'm really into Jessie J, actually.
Ah, well, she's here. You're going to get to see her later. Thank you so much. Look at him. Look at what a beautiful face. All right, now it's time to find out who's nominated for International Breakthrough. Voted, just do it. Don't mess around. Don't tease me, Bieber. Voted for by the readers of Radio 1, the listeners, I should say, and here to present it is a woman who has broken more bands than I've had hot dinners.
I feel violated right now. Wow.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you haven't. I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, I'm gonna get the front shot of it.
Man.
And then out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right,
No.
16.
No,
16.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Judge.
Okay.
Let's slow down.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
All right. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
Celebrity insiders are speaking out more now since Diddy's bail was denied. But looking back, it all seems a lot more obvious. There were definitely signs. You have to take everything Jag says as a grain of salt, especially now that she's not only been named in a Diddy lawsuit, but has been caught admitting to spreading lies and ugly gossip about victims, as well as being part of a human trade and exploitation operation in some very damning resurfaced clips. I will add links to those videos in the description. However, some of what she was saying about certain celebrity circles she had been part of does seem entirely plausible. Either way, I urge you to do your own research, use your discretion, and draw your own conclusions.
It's the symbolism, it's all of that. I'm tired of Usher. I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher sued. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest about him. Because what I'm realizing is that he's gonna fake the funk into the victim. man. He's just gonna keep on sucking the devil's. And I don't know, you know, like with a baby, that pacifier, sometimes you gotta pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And take it away, right? When the baby's used to sucking on the pacifier. That motherfucker gonna keep sucking on that shit until you do what? Till you take it out the mouth. Now it's gonna scream and holler, but eventually it will get used to the fact that his mouth is no longer full with that object. And that it's time to just, you know, learn how to live without it. He been sucking on Diddy's dick a long time. It's time for him to learn how to make this thing happen without the devil's dick in his mouth or ass.
You don't think if he sued, he'll just Lil Woody the situation and I don't recall? I don't recall.
No, because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator. Like people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not gonna speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing some, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first. Yeah. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what pedophiles do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids. Now, if Usher is a procurer, and if Usher knew what was gonna happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat with fucking Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's flavor camp, and his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like, these aren't good people!
All right, Jeff.
He's not good! He's a fucking asshole! And the simple fact that fucking Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
Run for the hills.
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl? Everybody else was there. Fucking Alicia Keys was there singing Bad.
They come on a little touchy.
They did. Ah! That was the first note. I think you guys are gonna find that we got a lot further to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, we do.
We just getting started. You realize that, right?
Oh, we do. Oh, we know.
Also in the news is the Diddler, P. Diddy, Love, Brother Love. This is one sick individual because according to the attorneys that have over 109 plaintiffs, this motherfucker was putting horse tranquilizers in the fruit punch he was giving to the children. I mean, one is about 9 years old. I mean, this motherfucker is a demonic motherfucker. The A-listers in Hollywood are they all very quiet. I'd like to hear from some of them. Little babies going to sleep off that horse tranquilizer, waking up with their asses sore, being taken to the hospital, finding out they got horse tranquilizers in their bloodstream. Kidnapping homeless people, giving them horse tranquilizers. They wake up 3 days later, ass sore. You can't go to the Diddy's house. You gonna wake up with your ass sore. Now, everybody that's been to Diddy's house, I know your ass is sore. That's why you're quiet. Your ass is sore. Sore asses. That's why you needed all that baby oil. Sore asses. Let's take out a moment of silence for some dead and dying asses. The Diddler did it again. This is funny how art imitates life. Y'all seen that movie called Blink Twice? Where this motherfucking billionaire has this island and he picks motherfuckers up, throw them on his private jet. They think they going to party and he be giving them food, drinks, and it's got some kind of poison in them. And they getting raped and all this shit. And then he give them this perfume they put on and they forget it. And it goes on the next day. They've been over there for a year, but they think they've been there for 2 days. That's the Diddler. Y'all probably thought y'all went to Diddy's party for one night. Check the tapes. Your ass might have been getting thrashed for a week. So asses! Them Seans, don't name your child Sean. Criminalistic name. God damn, them Seans, they be up to some shit.
That's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
I look at his kids and everything. It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know. Like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother no gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and Puffy.
You talking about Quincy, right?
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
I'll be sure, son.
All I'm gonna say is, who's infatuated with another man's son now, like that? Like that seemed like grooming to me. I got, oh, that's his daughter's brothers. Get the fuck out of here, huh? Plenty of daughters got brothers. Go show one man that do it. That ain't in the household with him. Like I'm saying, like I'm not married to your mother. If I'm married to your mother, then yeah, f your daddy. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't there, I'm here. But I'm not married to your mother. You actually my stepson. I keep you with me. I treat you like what for? I want to know what Justin Bieber, I want to know. Justin Bieber, look at his life change. His man life, that man is terrified of Puffy. I seen the video. I'm in the streets, dog. People know, you know fear, dog. Me like, what happened to your number? You like, oh, man, I lost it. You know fear, man. You gotta think of all the people, the white folks who've been at the parties. They scared. They don't roll in crowds with niggas and guns. You know, when they get slapped in the mouth at a party for being too high, they shut up. You get what I'm saying? You gotta think of all these people who've been terrified for years. Everybody.
Gives us a whole different perspective on what Justin, and likely many of these other young child stars, were struggling with when they were acting out or breaking down.
Involved in an accident overnight in California. Bieber had reportedly just come from a church event when he hit a photographer with his pickup truck in Beverly Hills. You're seeing the video there. The singer stayed on scene with the victim until police and paramedics arrived. Police say the photographer was taken to a hospital with a leg injury and is expected to be okay. No word if charges will be filed.
Breaking news right now, Justin Bieber, the singer and teen heartthrob, arrested early this morning for drag racing and DUI in Miami Beach. You're looking at a live shot.
Case this afternoon is Justin Bieber.
This afternoon, though, the grin was gone. In the courtroom video appearance from jail, Bieber alternated between striking bad boy poses and just looking scared. This was one TV spot his publicist couldn't control.
DUI, alcohol, or drugs. Resisting without violence.
Love you, Justin!
The official report says Bieber cursed at police, wouldn't submit to a search, and later acknowledged consuming alcohol and drugs. And he's still under investigation in Los Angeles for throwing eggs at a neighbor's house. Police there found cocaine in his mansion last week. For now, the famous Canadian is free on $2,500 bail. Whether he'll be allowed to remain in America, having admitted drug use, is an open question. Neil McDonald, CBC News, Washington.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Do you feel that you were self-destructing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. It would have been, I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark. Really dark. I mean, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, you know? And like, it was just insane. And so it's like, how do you...
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room with a picnic table full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because it's like, I just want people to understand, like, and get that perspective of like my life, because I think there's a lot of people, you know, that just have this, I'll see comments and stuff, and I really try not to read them, but I find myself in a wormhole sometimes.
Sure, it's human nature.
But just seeing like, you know, me talking about my issues or my problems and stuff, and they're like, oh man, cry me a river in your Rolls Royce, you know what I mean? It's like, I want people to kind of understand the psychology behind why I potentially could have, you know, problems in my life. So I think boundaries, to be honest, is like key, you know, understanding like there's people that play certain roles in my life, and kind of just let them play that role and not give them access to certain parts of my life. And that's something you have to do, not only as for your own emotional well-being, but I think as a business leader as well, you know, and something I'm learning. I've made some mistakes over the past year or two, just Scooter's over there probably laughing. Just I have a problem with trust, but then there's areas of like I do trust people a little too much sometimes.
And judgments?
Sometimes. I'm just working through, just kind of trying to figure out all that sort of stuff.
People who take advantage? Do you feel like people have taken advantage of you in the past?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, people take advantage, of course. But this is what I do. This is what I'm good at, and I don't need to run away from it. I was like, I was running away. You know, I think a lot of us need to take that. You know, when something's hard, it's almost like we need to run towards the pain and run towards the hurt rather than run away from it. And I think you get kind of healing when it comes to that.
But you came face to face with Billie Eilish, who in her own way, albeit in a different era, dealing with this very, very public explosion of success and of attention.
That too.
And like, by the way, like even more now, like.
It was so quick. Yeah, she's crazy. She's a superstar.
Superstar, right? So, so you're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you.
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm gonna get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're gonna get with anybody. I mean, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know? You just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know, and
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters, and yeah. So yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Tony Busby, who's representing more than 120 victims, has been keeping us up to date.
Let's remember, we're talking about allegations. We're going to file a public filing where the allegation is going to be that a 9-year-old was sexually assaulted allegedly by Sean Combs and several others. This young man now is very compelling, incredibly believable, and his story is corroborated by his parents. And that will be one of the cases that will be filed. But of the 120, there are 25 that were minors at the time the incidents occurred.
He is filing this lawsuit. Will it also lead to possible criminal prosecution?
I hope so.
Will you turn over information?
We're going to make any client that and you know, each of them, just their testimony alone is evidence. But any client that is willing, I'm going to encourage them to speak to the authorities.
You mentioned you're going to name names in these lawsuits. Will there be celebrity names?
I expect so, yes.
What will be the reaction, you believe, when these names come out?
I think people are going to be shocked. I mean, I think people already are suspecting some of the names that you might see. I think some of them will be shocking, though. And you know, let's not forget that a lot of these parties, whether it be after parties, white parties, whatever the parties were, these were well known. A lot of people really were jockeying to go to these parties. These were parties where a lot of well-known people attended, and you know, so there's venues involved, hotels involved. I think that there will be individuals who had parties at their residences, people that you will know, people that attended the parties that watched some of this behavior occur and stood by and let it happen. When it happened again and never said a word about it, and in fact hushed it. There's a real culture of silence surrounding all of this. You know, when I said that this was the most well-known secret in the industry, you know, the general public didn't know it was happening, but I think many people within the entertainment industry were aware of some of the things that were going on, or had heard rumors, or had been in the presence of some of this conduct.
Is there evidence against any major celebrities that you have, and is there anyone that you can name at this moment?
I'm not going to name anybody right now, but I do have evidence.
Have you had a chance to actually see any videos or text messages or other kind of correspondence that kind of corroborate these stories?
All of the above, yes. And not for all 120 clients. I asked for corroboration. What texts, video, pictures, give me dates, venues, give me witnesses. And, you know, we do that. We go through that process, and that's what we're doing.
Have you seen things that have shocked you?
Yeah, I have.
What are you hearing?
I've kind of put it in two different buckets. One bucket is young people trying to break into the industry who are coerced, promised things, pressured, in some cases physically assaulted, and then threatened. In other cases, the allegation, which is probably the more common allegation, is, you know, at some party, somebody reaches out, you know, sees somebody on the street, or sees somebody in the hotel lobby, or sees somebody in the crowd at a show, and somebody from Mr. Combs' entourage reaches out to that person and invites them to an after party. In order to stay, it's told you must drink this drink, and then they can't remember anything, or their memory is hazy from thereafter, and they wake up the next morning injured, and there's drugs in their system. And so that's a pretty common allegation that's been made.
Call them modest get-togethers, others hedonistic romps. For the next 53 seconds, we'll take an in-depth look inside Diddy parties.
Diddy once threw a party on a jet flying around the world. Now, it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that.
Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 Diddy parties a week. Maybe 4. Well, not including the weekends.
Boy, I remember one day we went to this Diddy party.
Well, what happened?
Lil Jon forgot his pimp cup.
Yep.
D-Rock went to Diddy and asked if he had a pimp cup Lil Jon can borrow.
Man, he had a whole bunch of pimp cups.
He had a pimp set.
It's hard to say which is more off the hook, a Diddy party or a Diddy after party, or a Diddy after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next Diddy party.
The Diddy Party legend continues tonight at 8 p.m. 7 Central.
While some celebrities were inducted into the A-list Hall of Fame after a Diddy party, others just weren't the same. Cassie mentioned her 21st birthday during the trial, which was when Sean made his first move on Cassie. Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, 50 Cent, as well as many other big-name artists and figures were in attendance. Something strange happened that night, and the next day Britney was noticeably not herself while she was performing Gimme More at the 2007 VMAs. Over the next few months, her life rapidly spiraled out of control, during which time she famously shaved her head and had attacked a paparazzi with an umbrella. Shortly after these incidents, her father made some serious moves with a woman named Lou Taylor to have Britney put under a conservatorship. Lou Taylor's name keeps coming up in questionable places, including in Diddy lawsuits. Tila Tequila was never the same after either, and her life and career started going down the tubes following the 4th of July White Party, hosted by Diddy, in 2009. Sometime between that September 2007 party for Cassie's birthday and 2009, 50 Cent and Diddy had some kind of falling out, and he was no longer attending these star-studded functions he hosted. Cassie's 21st birthday party may have in fact been his last, and soon enough we're going to find out why. 50 Cent has a Did He Do It documentary in the making, which has already been sold to Netflix. We can only assume that we're going to get a clearer picture about everything that was going on during that era, and from an insider perspective. Jay-Z has officially been named publicly in one of the ongoing Diddy lawsuits. His identity was being protected as the 13-year-old alleged victim's legal team was offering the chance of mediation and settling in private. Some of the other celebrities that were approached with this offer already settled, but not Jay-Z. Apparently he and his team thought it was a better idea to publicly clap back in a seething statement. Busby, of course, was quick to reply. This lawsuit was originally filed back in October. She was the 13-year-old who claimed she found her way to a Diddy after-party by speaking to limo drivers outside an awards show one evening, trying to meet celebrities.
It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of being a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit, and the new allegations are just coming out this evening.
And a new twist in a high-profile lawsuit accuses rapper Jay-Z of being a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs.
Well, what is standing out to me is she was very specific about several things. She describes the house, she describes the driveway, she describes the exact assault, what happened. She talks about various stages of things that occurred. And I think that this is good because this way it can either be corroborated or not corroborated.
She allegedly was given a drink, which on its own is very illegal due to her age, but she very quickly began to feel woozy and went to find somewhere to lie down and collect herself. Shortly after, Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, and Diddy exclaimed, "You're ready to party." Jay-Z allegedly held her down and forced himself on her, while Diddy and an unnamed female celebrity watched. Diddy then forced her to her knees to perform an act on him. Some had already speculated the woman in that suit must have been J-Lo, since that's who Diddy was seeing at the time, but I believe it was determined that this was the party J-Lo and Diddy had a big blowout at. So it makes me wonder if it was Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce in that room, because who else would it be? I guess it could have been Naomi Campbell, or any one of the other female artists that Diddy and or Jay-Z managed at the time. But one would assume that these were all people who were intimately close, and that does narrow it down a bit. Or maybe it was Aaliyah, and seeing the same alleged crimes she had suffered in her youth being perpetrated right before her eyes made something click in her. And perhaps this is what led to her untimely death mid-2001? She didn't even want to get on that plane. She had her own flight arranged. She was brought onto that plane unconscious.
She knows. She knows. And I know she knows.
Is it so far-fetched to believe that birds of a feather flock together? Diddy and Jay-Z's old pal, R. Kelly, is still serving time for very similar crimes, and has most recently been accused by his own daughter. R. Kelly's first album in 2002 was in collaboration with Jay-Z, which was also the same year that he was prosecuted for child SA crimes. This song and music video was released around the time that R. Kelly was acquitted in 2008. Due to new interest in the case in 2019, with the Surviving R. Kelly documentary and other independent media covering the details of the case, further investigation led to multiple indictments, his arrest, and subsequent conviction. He's currently serving his 31-year sentence. Foxy Brown had once alleged that Jay-Z took her virginity at age 15. She claimed he was taking her on shopping and salon trips, parading her around and pampering her while she was still in high school. Although she later retracted her claims, her career came to a screeching halt.
So what I realized is most people are hypocritical. They stuck on words. That's why they ignore most people's actions like celebrities. That's why they ignore R. Kelly actions for so long when he was child. And that's why they ignored Jay-Z's action when Foxy Brown came out and said he was putting that horse dick in her in the Source magazine. Remember that interview? You might be too young. Foxy Brown came out and said Jay-Z was fucking her when she was 16. So if we just go, come on now. So that's why action don't speak louder than words to black people.
Beyonce was around 16 when she came into the picture as well. This clip is from a 2007 interview. Beyonce was 26 at the time.
They mention Sony when they talk about where you might go.
I mean, that's obvious because Beyonce has a deal there, and they know I know her. So, but you know,
how long have you known her?
Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago. But
did you say to yourself at that time, "Wow"?
That's a fantastic talent.
Was that what you said?
Yeah. Because
you saw talent before you saw anything else.
Yeah, because she was singing like a rapper.
Aaliyah was even younger. She was alleged to have been involved with R. Kelly as early as the age of 12, and had a mock wedding when she was 15.
This witness vividly remembered the day R. Kelly introduced her to Aaliyah. It was Aaliyah's 12th birthday, and R. Kelly was convinced that Aaliyah would be a star. The witness learned more about R. Kelly and Aaliyah's relationship after walking in on them in the back of a tour bus. A former backup dancer testified she was on tour with R. Kelly in the early 90s, and Aaliyah traveled with them. The dancer said on the back of a tour bus she saw, quote, Robert and Aaliyah in a sexual situation, saying Kelly appeared to be performing oral sex on Aaliyah. At the time, Aaliyah would have been around 13 years old. The jury already heard testimony about R. Kelly's secret and illegal marriage to Aaliyah in 1994. While the marriage certificate says Aaliyah was 18 years old, Aaliyah was really 15. The backup dancer, who testified using the name Angela, said she also had a sexual relationship with Kelly, starting when she was 14 or 15 years old.
It's good to know that there's a lot of people out there that don't see nothing wrong with it either.
R. Kelly set a chart record this year, scoring the longest-running #1 song on the R&B charts, Bump and Grind. Kelly also found time to write and produce top 10 hits for his teenage bride Aaliyah and girl group Changing Face.
Well, man, hip-hop star R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Houghton. Kelly stated his age as 27, 2 years older than he previously claimed to be, and Aaliyah produced 2 pieces of ID that appeared to show her to be 18. But Aaliyah's publicists continue to insist that she's 15. The Budweiser company dropped her from its Superfest tour because it felt she was too young to be on the road, and most convincingly, the Detroit High School of the Performing Arts acknowledged that Aaliyah is in fact a 10th grade student there.
Let's also not forget that Rihanna was only 16 when she signed with Jay-Z. He basically threatened her life if she didn't sign.
So tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you. A really good audition. Yeah. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming. And you had to sing a cappella for him? Yes, I had to sing I sang Pon de Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh, yes. He said, we don't sing songs here. We sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door.
Oh, then he said, he did it whole
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Here's the paper. I'm signing.
Yeah.
You know, she just had, it was just something about her. It was just, she had this, you know, it was just something about it. And then she performed the song, and I was like, okay. Then, you know, we sat down and we talked, and they were talking about how she would stay in the studio and try to get the verse over and then come back the next day. I was like, oh, work ethic, everything is there. So we signed it that night. We didn't let her leave the office.
Really?
The 3 a.m. was when that contract got signed. So from the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 a.m. Wow. That day, I was absolutely certain.
How often does that happen? I mean, that's
not often.
That's unheard of, right?
That's not, yeah.
What else are all these young stars forced to do under threats of fatal harm and or in exchange for being able to pursue their passion? Is that why Justin Bieber has remained silent on the situation and his involvement with Diddy, Usher, and who knows who else he was allegedly served to? Were Aaliyah and Tupac a warning shot, so to speak? Part of how Diddy was able to manipulate and keep a stronghold on his artists and business partners?
We look at death from a selfish side, like, you know, that guy died. Oh, it's so sad. Why is it sad? He's away from all of this bad stuff that's here on earth. At the worst, he's just somewhere quiet, nothing. At best, he's an angel, or he's at the next existence, or he's a spirit somewhere, you know. What is so bad about that?
Whether Diddy was involved in these and other BIG tragedies or not, there were enough rumors that he could leverage.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
There were way too many suspicious and untimely deaths surrounding Diddy and associates to be a coincidence, though, in my opinion.
And crucially, was the pilot capable of flying? It's emerged he wasn't licensed for that type of aircraft and was also under investigation for drugs offenses.
It did come as a shock. It's a pretty hard one to swallow, especially the way that she went, because there's so many ways that you can die, you know, and that's a pretty tragic way to go. You know, that wow.
Tupac, Biggie, Aaliyah, Kobe Bryant, only a month after attending his first Diddy party. The mother of his children, Kim Porter, after allegedly discovering tapes of Diddy and various celebrity minors. It was ruled as pneumonia. Brittany Murphy, following her relationship with Ashton Kutcher, and coming into contact with a border crossing agent who noticed a serious discrepancy and became a whistleblower. Also ruled as pneumonia, and only 5 short months after she passed, her then-husband Simon Monjack passed of the same causes. Aaron Carter's passing seemed to have some connections to Diddy as well. He began heavily self-medicating after attending a Diddy party in 2010. Liam Payne's death shared elements of the Diddy lawsuits, including pink cocaine being found in his system, which was the narc cocktail that Diddy was known to dispense at his parties to willing and not so willing participants. DJ Twitch boss, Anne Heche. More recently, many have begun speculating if Diddy and associates were somehow involved in Nipsey Hussle's homicide, which happened just over a month after he'd attended a Rock Nation brunch in February of 2019. He was fatally shot outside his store on March 31st.
I did not know Nipsey Hussle. I knew of him and the positive things that he was trying to do out there in his community. The music that he was putting out, that I could say, based on conversations that I heard him speak, that the man was spiritually connected he was a child of God. He had gotten in front of Puffy one time, and he told Puff that he was putting out this music, and I guess Puff was helping him in some kind of way, and he said something. And that what he said was, I need my music and my albums to have the same feel of that life after death like Biggie's album. Now, you taking a spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got murdered and he went on to sell about 10 million albums or 10 million copies. I was saying, you gotta watch what you say to demons, because it just might come true.
The 9 college students at CCNY who were trampled when the venue ignored maximum capacity limits and oversold the tickets very early in Diddy's career. This was perhaps more so a freak accident, but was still worth noting. There are probably even more, but that's enough to see a pattern. Some people also theorize that Al B. Sure, Wendy Williams, and Jamie Foxx's strange and mysterious illnesses have something to do with Diddy as well.
He got bariatric surgery, began to look and feel better, then earlier this year had a medical emergency when he was rushed to the hospital after collapsing while working on new music. He called one of his closest friends for help.
Eddie F is standing above me, I'm in a wheelchair, and he's talking to security. He had me hidden in the corner, and I'm in an emergency room. And then I remember him embracing me, putting me in his Escalade or whatever, and moving me, and I just remember those are the vague things that I remember, and wind up being in a hospital somewhere. This is in July 2022, and then it was October.
In a coma for 2 months, Al was close to death.
I was intubated, I was on a ventilator, I had a tracheotomy. I mean, there was so many things going on to the point where they were considering sending me to hospice. What people don't truly understand unless you've been through this type of medical journey is taking for granted breathing, tying your shoes, speaking.
Heartbreaking news. Wendy Williams is being described as permanently incapacitated due to her battle with dementia and aphasia. Her guardian, attorney Sabrina Morrissey, made the disturbing revelation in court filings. Wendy was last seen in public at a holistic store back in August, taking a photo with a fan in New Jersey. The former talk show host was also the subject of a Lifetime documentary that was criticized for showing Wendy at her lowest, looking out of it, and perhaps not fully aware of what was going on.
We all make choices in life. We all go through our challenges.
Wendy Williams was diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia in May of last year.
Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him, and that's why he got that stroke. He talked about it on stage. He talked about it on his Netflix special. Rogan went on to say, quote, "Bro, I think there was some crazy stuff going on. I think murders, alleged murders, a bunch of people got pneumonia, a bunch of convenient people died of pneumonia." Mark Normand also chimed in, saying, quote, "Jamie Foxx said I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up."
This is a dangerous game people are playing, and it's a good feeling for me to see the justice system prevail, and some people deserve retribution.
You clearly feel that Sean Combs, over the years, has made people disappear.
Right. Well, Pierce, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So,
I'm sure there's a lot more connections to be made and truths to be revealed in the nearest of futures.
This is Beyonce. Now tell me about getting over the stage fright. I mean, how did this go from having fun and singing for a few people to where, I mean, you're going to go out there and you're going to try to make it big?
Well, I guess if we keep on practicing and practicing and we keep on performing, every time we get better and the stage fright just fades away.
We may never hear the high-profile names. The latest news is that some celebrities have already reached a settlement with some of the victims. Now, whether we can consider that an admission of guilt or simply paying people off to stay silent, who knows?
I'm hoping to file some lawsuits this week. They, of course, will include Mr. Combs and some corporate entities. But we want to make sure that if we name individuals beyond Mr. Combs, that we make sure that we've done our homework, because it's going to create a firestorm. We understand that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's.
Tony, you said something interesting there. You said, I don't expect that to happen this week. So that sounds like there could be other people named, other famous people named down the road. I know you said this is going to be a process over the next 30 days of filing these lawsuits. So are you saying not this week, but maybe in the weeks coming after this one?
I would expect so. I really don't want to get into a situation where people are, if I don't file a lawsuit next week, then, there's that creates a media frenzy. The truth is, I want to be clear about something. If you were attending one of these parties, if you will, and you attended before, or you knew what was going to happen, that is, you knew that a particular drug was being used in drinks that was causing people to be coerced and taken advantage of, and you were there in the room, or you participated, or you watched it happen and didn't say anything, or you helped cover it up, in my view, you have a problem.
That may still not prevent them from having charges brought against them, as per their relation to the federal indictment. Either way, this has opened up a mighty big can of worms, and nobody's doubting that Diddy will sing like a canary if it means he'll get a more lenient sentence. I hope the victims get their justice. Being able to buy your way out of punishment for crimes against children is so disturbing. Let's keep our thumb on the jugular of this ugly head of society. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.